The latest measurement of poverty in America was released today by the U.S. Census Bureau, and the news was headed in the wrong direction.
In America, a shocking reality is quietly unfolding, one that most people never imagined they would see in one of the richest nations on earth. Millions of families are living without the very basics: clean water, stable electricity, safe housing, things we all thought were guaranteed in a modern country. These aren't isolated stories from far-off places. They are happening in American towns and cities, behind closed doors, often ignored or hidden from the headlines. The question is, how did we get here? How did the so-called land of opportunity allow its people to fall into conditions that look more like the third world than the first? Tonight, we're going to dig into this uncomfortable truth, peel back the layers, and uncover what's really happening beneath the surface. Stay with us till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to discover may change the way you see America forever. America has always been seen as the land of dreams. But today, for millions of people, the reality looks far from a dream. In fact, many Americans are living in conditions that feel closer to what you would expect in struggling nations, rather than in one of the world's wealthiest countries. This isn't just about poverty in the traditional sense. It's about the slow breakdown of systems and structures that were supposed to guarantee a certain standard of living for everyone. Families are living without reliable water, in homes with poor sanitation, and in areas where electricity cuts out far too often. Some are forced to live in trailers, cars, or poorly built houses that offer little protection against harsh weather. And the deeper we look into this issue, the clearer it becomes that these are not accidents. They are the result of decades of neglect, inequality, and misplaced priorities. One of the biggest reasons behind this decline is infrastructure. Much of America's infrastructure was built decades ago and was never fully upgraded to match the demands of today. From broken-down water systems that leave people with unsafe drinking water to crumbling housing projects that are no longer livable, the signs are everywhere. The famous case of Flint, Michigan, where residents were exposed to contaminated water, is not just one isolated story. It's a warning of how widespread the problem can be. Many rural towns and inner-city neighborhoods face the same issues, but don't get the same level of attention. Another driving force is inequality. Over the past few decades, wealth has concentrated into the hands of a small portion of the population, while wages for ordinary workers have stagnated. The cost of housing, healthcare, and basic necessities has skyrocketed, leaving millions unable to afford a safe and stable life. People who once thought of themselves as middle class are finding it harder to keep their homes, pay their bills, or even cover basic groceries. As a result, entire communities are slipping into conditions that mirror what we often describe as third world. There's also the issue of policy and governance. For years, leaders have spoken about rebuilding America, improving infrastructure, and addressing inequality. But much of it has remained political promises rather than reality. Budgets get cut, funds get redirected, and the people who suffer are those who are already most vulnerable. Meanwhile, industries like healthcare, housing, and utilities continue to prioritize profit, which only makes things worse. Climate change adds another layer of crisis. Storms, hurricanes, droughts, and wildfires are hitting harder and more often. When a storm wipes out power in a wealthy area, it gets fixed quickly. But in poorer neighborhoods, families can wait weeks before services are restored. Droughts are drying up water supplies in some areas, while floods are destroying homes in others. For families already living on the edge, one disaster is enough to push them into complete collapse. The future, if these issues are not addressed, looks even more alarming. We could see a country divided into two very different realities, one where wealthy neighborhoods enjoy security, comfort, and stability, and another where millions live without clean water, without safe housing, and without reliable electricity. The American dream could fade further into something that only exists for a few, while the majority struggle with conditions no different from those faced in some of the poorest nations around the globe. The truth is, this isn't just about poor living standards. It's about dignity, survival, and the promise of a better life that America has always stood for. If these issues continue to be ignored, the gap will widen, and the so-called land of opportunity could turn into a land of survival, where basic human needs are no longer guaranteed.
What we're witnessing isn't just poverty. It's a silent warning about the direction America is heading. If millions are already living in conditions that strip away dignity and stability, what happens when the cracks widen and even more people fall through? This is not just about those who are struggling right now. It's about what kind of future the country is building. Will America find the will to repair its broken systems? Or will it accept a reality where entire communities live without clean water, safe homes, or reliable power? These are the questions we can't ignore, because the answers will decide whether the American dream survives or disappears. If you want to keep uncovering the truth behind these hidden realities, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next will reveal even more about the future that lies ahead.